perfect outcome to all things is assured. Yeah, perfect outcome to all things is assured. Yeah, I'm getting stronger every day because my faith leads the way. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. In every situation, there's a blessing somewhere. Come gather, brothers and sisters, and we'll see that it is there. Ooh, I need you, you need me. Yes, you do. And that's how our happiness is guaranteed. Take it, boys.
And now, in all your doings, be you blessed. Through you is ushered in a world unseen, unheard, yet truly there. Holy are you, and in your light, the world reflects your holiness. For you are not alone and friendless. I give thanks for you and join your efforts on behalf of God, knowing that they are on my behalf as well, and for all those who walk to God with us.
Sing it with me. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. I'm getting stronger every day because my faith leads the way. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. A perfect outcome to all things, yeah, is assured.
Wee doggy!
Had to happen.
Oh gosh, that always makes me laugh.
Get your chair dancing in after your big Sunday brunch.
Well,
You
see,
know?
and so, yes, that is one thing
That's what we did today.
discovered this week is that so I've been reading about different health benefits of walking and stuff because I've been secluded in my, apartment for almost 3 years here,
So
mostly staying here.
So we have COVID body.
Yeah, we got a little extra pounds on. Mm-hmm. But I was reading this article today that was really cool. I think it's beneficial. It's like if every half hour you get up and walk around for 5 minutes, it really boosts your immune system. And I was like, I can do that for 5 minutes every half hour.
So it's like a cat will jump off the thing and make the rounds of the whole house and
then
come back
and go to sleep.
She's like the cat.
Kind of like that.
Now, in this cat thing, right?
But hey, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we've already just had such a great time today here in the sanctuary.
I know, it's fun.
As we always do on Sundays, and just enjoying everybody's sharing. And one thing that Glenn reads is you were not alone and friendless, and that's from the
teacher's prayer.
The teacher's prayer in the Course in Miracles, and it's like that, isn't it? We are not alone and friendless, and of course our sanctuary is manifestation of that. But it's just so wonderful to listen to everybody sharing, and especially today, Cindy's homily and then the sharing afterwards was so powerful for me. And just talking about, looking at fear, that spoke to me. Yeah. Because in a lot of ways right now in my life, I feel like I don't know anything at all, and that scares me. So it's a perfect place to be, though. Like, I'm really taking to heart, I don't know what anything is for, And so to hear other people just all you guys, share and talk about your experiences really means an awful lot to me, because particularly right now I feel, like I don't know like I said, I don't know anything. I don't know what anything is for.
Is that a very frightening feeling for you?
Well, right now it is, for some reason. I think in the past, like, I haven't really taken it on as
I think it's the realization that we've never really known. And we want to create meaning so we feel safe, but it's not. We've never known. We've always been in the in this place of not really knowing, because I mean, I can look at my history and think that I knew what was going on, and I didn't.
Right.
I didn't.
Yeah.
The narrative I told is just that, is a story in my head, because I couldn't bear to be present. Because I just couldn't stand to be inside this body having these emotions or thoughts, or frightening myself with these ideas about the way the world is and what it means to me, and what it did to me, and what who's hurting, and who's the story of this, who's hurting and who's suffering. And
so that's interesting. You just gave me an insight, which I'm sure we've talked about many times, but you know how things hit you at different times, but it's the story that I'm creating. Yeah. That's engendering the fear.
You're afraid of the story. Yeah. The story is the result of the fear, because I'm trying to make sense of what I don't know, what I won't allow myself to feel. Like, if you realize the gift that fear gives you, you would run toward it. Or,
So that's funny. I noticed today physically in my body that my heart was racing. And I'm not one that has ever been prone to fits of anxiety. However, today I was feeling that really strongly, and it's really super interesting. So what you just helped me realize was that the story that I'm creating around all of that is
what I'm frightening.
What I'm frightening myself with. Hallelujah! I just had an aha moment.
Well,
and that goes really well with the workbook lesson.
So we left. So we're today's the 15th. So you should be on lesson 15.
Don't tell people what they should be doing.
You're on lesson 15. I'm being silly.
I know.
You're on lesson 15, right? Because you're a good Course in Miracles student. You do one a day, right? You're on lesson 15, right?
I am, and you are, but that doesn't mean everybody else is, and they don't have to be.
I'm putting peer pressure into the room.
I know, that was ridiculous.
For practice.
Oh, wait. Arizona is sharing
I had that flutter today, Arizona was saying.
Okay. Arizona says, I had that flutter. I guess she means in her heart today, trying to shovel steep, icy driveway. Wow. She was thinking she was scared she might fall. Yeah,
glad you're okay.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're good.
So
thank you for joining us.
And what linking fear to our past thoughts is where we are in the lesson. So if you go back, if you go back to where we left off last week, we're on lesson 8. And lesson 8 is my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This is how we begin to recognize how we've constructed this fearful world that we say is reality, and it's not. We're actually, it's quite benevolent. Quite lovely. And beautiful and safe. So my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts, right? Yeah. And so lesson 9 comes in with I see nothing as it is now, right? Because I can't stand to be here now. Right. I just can't. I can't bear it. So I have to be in the past. I have to be in the future. I see nothing as it is now. Also implies that I could.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we move on, and so lesson 10 is my thoughts do not mean anything. Oh gosh. Do you remember the first time that you got to this lesson? You were like going, what in the what?
I know.
I says, of course they mean something. They're my thoughts. I'm having these thoughts. Of course they mean something. I have a degree in thinking,
I know. I have a master's degree.
I have initials after my name that says I can think. I put a lot of information. I read books and everything like that. The gall, the absolute gall of my thoughts don't mean anything. what have I gotten myself into? You know, what have I really gotten myself into? Well, I mean, if you're tortured by your thoughts, the other side of that coin is like, oh, I don't have to figure all this out. It's not something I can go learn. It's outside of me that I have to acquire. Something I have to acquire. That mindset is about acquiring happiness. Like I can, you know, take it off something, you know, or grow it and consume it. You know,
that's really cool in regards to what I was experiencing today, because I was seeing only the past.
It's
and
common.
I was projecting into the future, and all of those were thoughts that didn't mean anything.
And our language is structured in the past. In the past. So then it goes.
Oh, lesson 11. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world.
I know. So whose fault is it that you see a meaningless world? Mine.
Boom.
Right? My thoughts are showing me a meaningless.
World.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh. I could. Can I even shut it off? You know, can I? You know, or learn to live through it? That's the whole. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world, which means there is something out beyond this.
Right.
So we get to. I'm
upset because I see a meaningless world.
Right.
Well,
So
I've worked myself up into this upset.
Because I'm saying that the upset is true. I'm engaging with what I'm we're going to talk about projection today. In chapter 2. So I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. I use that a lot. If I'm upset, I've kind of paraphrased this for myself. That is like, if I'm upset, I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm not seeing correctly.
Right.
Because if I'm seeing correctly, I'm like, this too. You know, this isn't bigger than me. Right. I'm upset
because I see a meaningless
world. And I don't have to, right? So then we get to 2 days ago. No, 2 days ago.
A meaningless world engenders fear. Ha ha, ta ta, la la.
If you want to be afraid, I mean, because look, you pay $10 or $15 and get a whole bag of popcorn to go get this,
go be afraid of the
scared
movies.
to death. Right. Okay. So don't kid yourself that there's pleasure in this suffering we crave. Right. There's comfort and we know what it is, and this lonely feeling again. You know, we've turned
really
it right into
me out today. Honey. This is good. I'm gonna
write a country song. You know, that's what I'm gonna do. This meaningless world engenders fear.
Okay,
so you don't have to be. So there's something besides fear here.
Right.
Even if you're afraid, you goes, well, I'm wrong, and even if I can't see through or past this fear, I know that there's something on the other side of this fear.
So maybe it will be revealed in the next lesson.
Let's find
what
out.
Is beyond. Okay, so the next lesson
Lesson 14 is
God did not create a meaningless world.
So there could be something actually enjoyable to do or to be a part of or experience if I wasn't scaring myself with my own story. What would I be experiencing if I wasn't scaring myself with my own story?
Well, I could be experiencing the joy of being right here with y'all, which is like where I am right now.
And being one with God, all alone and friendless.
Love. Yes, exactly.
You know,
love.
that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's reality, right? God did not create a meaningless world.
So today's the 15th, and what is today's lesson? It is my thoughts are images that I have made.
So he just wants you to get that really, my thoughts are images that I have made.
You know what? I like this.
Which makes them the material world.
Right. I like this a lot because it goes, certainly it all goes with our teaching and learning that we do here in Awakening Together. But what I have been given to do for myself recently, which I didn't do today, and now I'm putting all these things together, is, these thoughts are things. For me, it helps to say, these thoughts are things, like the glass or anything else,
It's the material. It's fourth principle.
Yeah, and so these thoughts are things, and I'm like, oh, so I don't have to, you know, believe that these thoughts are true. You know, that word believe.
Oh, like agency, like if having those thoughts, the thoughts themselves have agency.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they mean or they cause something to happen to
Right.
you.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Jenny. Oh, it's so nice to see you. So glad you're here. Oh, and George is here too. Hey, George. How you doing?
We're talking about a meaningless world. Ever experience a meaningless world? God doesn't create a meaningless world.
That's today's
right?
lesson.
So
oh no,
this
today's
is
lesson is my thoughts are images that I have made.
Which is the gospel, should be good news.
It is good news.
It should be very, very good news. Although you will obviously not be able to apply the idea to very many things during this minute or so of practice. You know,
it's recommended.
That is recommended. You know, so it's just like the reminder that when we talk about these ideas, they're like the games that Regina does. It goes, they're really good to play all the time.
Right.
When I first started doing, really getting serious about the lessons in A Course in Miracles, I put the Adon on my phone. You know you know we used to live next to a mosque.
Well, we do still.
We still live above a mosque. I used to live within. So I would hear the call to prayer 5 times a day. Mm-hmm. So at least 5 times a day, I would do
whatever.
I would do I would begin to do the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, it's this kind of repetition and this kind of practice. Even when it's like, oh, I really don't understand any of this. Like we were talking. Do you remember the first time you did the lessons? And it was like, oh my God, I don't even like. Where was all this? The 15th time I did this, it was like, oh my God, this is all right here, and I didn't see it, you know, or didn't experience it. So it's the repetition. It's what we choose to put our attention on.
Yeah.
Right. How am I using the love of God? How am I using the moment and my attention and what I fall on? If I can remember, like listen for the call to prayer or put the Adon on your phone.
Yeah.
Prompts to remember, you know, the concepts that you want to do. I have a good friend who has her Google calendar is filled with this stuff.
Yeah.
So every like 15 or 20 minutes, she gets a ding on her phone for a message.
Wow, that's cool. Set it up in your Google Calendar and get reminded. That's kind of cool.
You know, so there's all kinds of ways that, you know, that we can create an easier way to practice these ideas. And you've helped us do this.
Yeah, you have. But which is why Regina's Awakening games are so much fun, and why I enjoyed it so much this afternoon when we were doing that. So yeah.
What's our sing along today?
I want to share with y'all. Let's put it in the chat. We're going to do a Tibetan mantra. It's the Green Tara mantra.
That's it.
And I'm going to put the website link in the chat so you can do it. But just type out the words, honey. Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Soha. And those are the only words if you want to sing along. But if you want to read about, you know, all about the Green Tower mantra, go to that link. It's very interesting. This is
compassion.
She's
she's
stepping
off. She's the green tower. The Green Tower, where she's stepping off the idea is that compassion and the truth and love and forgiveness, the love of God, is always a choice we're making to experience or not to experience. So to choose the experience of reality. Tara, come to my aid. This is, let me pierce through my own ignorance and see what is true. So, not really a person more than an idea that I can do this. I can see what is real. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha.
tare, ture soha. Om tare, tu 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 tare, ture soha. Om tare tu tare 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 ture soha. Celebrate! Om tare tu tare ture soha. 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 Om tare tu tare ture soha.
As she steps off her green Tara, she steps off her lotus, offering you solutions and the way home, right?
Yes. Hi, Reverend Jacqueline. It's so nice to
Glad
see
you're
you. Yay.
And I know.
Hi, Meg. Look who's here. Meg's here.
I know.
Yay.
We evoke Tara, and we get Meg and Jacqueline show up. We start singing Tara, and Meg and Jacqueline show up. Just saying.
Yay.
Just saying.
Compassion.
I know. The goddess of compassion, right?
I know. That's so awesome. We're so glad to see y'all. So let's see. Oh, you know what? Do we want to do meditation now, or
Yep.
do we want to? Okay. So I had a new idea for our meditation today, and I am going to ring the bell and all that, but it comes from the Radiant Sutras, which I know I'm so
The gift that keeps on giving.
grateful to Sina and Rhoda for introducing it. Rhoda introduced us to the Radiant Sutras in the morning meditations, and then Sina was so kind to send me this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you hold it right there. And for our meditation, I'm going to ring and breathe like we usually do. And then I'm going to read this. Oh, it's the banter verses 5 and 6 from the Radiant Sutras. And I'm allowing Spirit to move through me in whatever way this sutra is to be delivered. It may be sung, it may be spoken, I'm not sure. And I'm going to just be here and be open and see what happens. So here we go. once again, as we gather in the Awakening Together Sanctuary, we co-create together this amazing circle of love, this circle of unconditional love, in which we bring everything into the circle, everything that we like and everything that we do not like. We bring it here and we celebrate this which we call life. What is this power we call life? Appearing as the play of flesh and breath. How may I know this mystery and enter it more deeply? My attention is enthralled by a myriad of forms, innumerable, individual entities everywhere, flashing into existence and fading away again. Lead me into the wholeness beyond all of these parts. Do me a favor, my love. Let me rest in your embrace. Refresh me with elixir of your wisdom. Ravish me with your truth. Oh,
I feel ravished.
Ravish me with your truth.
I know.
I know, right? That was
a truth ravishing. You know?
I may just sit here and record, but, you know, all of these just, I mean, I'm so enjoying this. You know, this is really, really beautiful, and I'm enjoying reading them every day and contemplating them, so yay. Yay. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
If you're following along and you're doing your good Course in Miracles students, you're reading 12.8 pages a week, and you're doing the lessons and all of that, and you'll find yourself the first chapter of Course in Miracles describes the real world.
Hold on.
Which book was that, Reverend Yolanda?
Yeah, I just want to tell.
Sure.
Arizona. It's called thank you, Sina. It's called the Radiance Sutras.
Radiance.
Radiance.
Not radiant,
I always
radiance.
say Radiance, but it's Radiance.
The Radiance Sutras.
And it's written by or compiled, I don't know, written by Lauren Roche. So I'll let you get that. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
And so, doing it, I really enjoy the Course in Miracles, and I do it every year because it changes every year for me. Yeah. Because I grow every year. So as I begin teaching this, the same sort of themes of each chapter began to come, really kind of came out for the way I think about and work with. Of course, the first chapter describes the real world. It's the miracles, right? The things that are supposed to be happening all the time, that do happen, all the time. This art project that we live in, right? So, and the second chapter is what I call it. She names the problem. She goes, the problem. You know what your problem is?
Everybody got problems.
Everybody got problems. Everybody got problems. We love that Talladega Nights.
It's from a movie, Talladega Nights.
So everybody got problems. So she names the problem, and the problem is, well, there's lots of ways to say it, but it's separation, right? Yeah. It's the belief that I'm out here, all on my own. what was that song in the 70s?
Out here.
Mariah Carey. Yeah, Mariah Carey.
No. It was from Irene
Cara.
Yes,
Irene Cara doing
Yeah.
Out Here on My Own, right? That belief that this narrative me is out here, vulnerable and and everything. That's the problem. There's a lot of reinforcement for that in the culture.
For being alone and friendless.
Oh yeah, for being alone and friendless.
For thinking you're alone.
Oh, I know. There's lots of cures for that. One of them is weight loss. I'm told. If you want people to hang out with you more, you need to change the way you look, right? So what she's getting at here is we're living in a Garden of Eden. She's going to use this metaphor in the text today. She goes, you're living in a Garden of Eden. You're living in the Garden of Eden, and you don't even know it.
Right.
You keep leaving the garden, right? So stop doing that. How do we stop doing that? By owning who's, like we say all the time here, who's this suffering? Who's the one that's suffering? Who's the one that wants things different? And like, how in the world could you be convinced that different's better? You've got now. We have now. It begins to. She wants us to look again at the way that we're constructing the world, this meaningless world that's causing us stuff. She goes, well, there is a problem. You're making it. We can unmake it. Mm-hmm. Good news.
Good news.
So it's the idea of the garden. She's going to give you the metaphor of the Garden of Eden. There's only 5 paragraphs in here. It's pretty good. But she packs a wallop. So this is the chapter 2, is called the separation and the atonement. Right? That's the problem. What world are you building for yourself? What world are you encountering? And she's going to introduce the idea of projection. Right? So this is section 1. It's called The Origins of Separation. I think it's really good to revisit the construction and the foundation of our fears and how we keep manufacturing because it's unexamined, right? We keep manufacturing this problem to solve over and over and over and over again, when it's really just one problem. Once she talked about in the sutras, in myriad forms, right? So I see them in myriad, all
distractions in myriad
forms.
Yeah.
So how do we recognize those things as one form, or as one thing? And she says you don't have to memorize and learn every single way that you do that. You just have to want something else more. You have to want what's true more than you want what is. You want it different. You want what's true more than you want what's something different, more satisfying.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting proposition.
I like that.
So read this part I've got highlighted for you.
Okay, this is cool. We
had a good time.
Yeah, this is really cool. We were talking about this on Wednesday. So let's see. The first paragraph says, "You have not only been fully created, but have also been created perfect."
Period.
Period. You are perfect. There is no emptiness in you.
Period.
No emptiness. Because of your likeness to your Creator, you are creative.
Period.
Yes, the inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you and that you can fill it with your own ideas instead of truth.
2 parts.
This process involves the following steps.
So I want to slow before we get to the steps, and they're really interesting and useful. I want us to get these facts down, like kind of what we're getting at here, a way of unpacking this. So the fact is, we have the will to create as God does. We want, because we want things different. That's the misuse of the will to create and share and expand. Right? We have a creative urge that we're interpreting as desire for something different.
That's cool. I don't remember. Oh, wow. Again, you're really helping me out here today. I'm liking this. Okay, go ahead.
So the fact is that we have the will to create as God does, to share ourselves with the world. And we're already perfect. So this project of getting better or fixing is the project of saying, breaking something and then fixing it. Because we're not broken in the first place.
Right.
So you're perfect. You're to do, what I'd like to say is you're oddly specific.
How many of us are
Very,
oddly
very,
specific?
you're specific to this
We got
place and
hands-
time and
we got
this
hands in
thing.
the room.
I know. You're oddly specific,
know.
but that doesn't make the one. That's an expression. That's the more what I like. What I'm thinking of is art, and so we're perfect. So there's nothing to fix, right? This express, yes. Fix, not so much.
Yeah.
So then there's no emptiness. Okay, there's no
emptiness.
lack. I'm not missing anything. Don't have empty where there should be something.
Right.
That I wasn't created completely, I'm not, something needs to be added to me. There's I'm incomplete. Right? No emptiness.
There
The way
is emptiness
no emptiness
in you.
You're full of God. Full. No lack. So we can do it. It's sort of like you're capable. Right? We're capable. And so she wants to draw and then she draws a comparison. She wants you to fully embody this and being able to recognize this comparison. Expansion and extension. How does that feel? The expansion and extension feeling? Or projection and the ego narrative.
Okay. Yeah.
So the remedy that she says is, and you think you can fill the world with your own ideas instead of truth. So there's two things we're doing here where I don't recognize the truth or don't find value in it, and I'm trying to create something that's going to compete with what is true. It's a recipe for disaster, right?
Yeah.
So she gives you the remedy. To climb out of this delusion upon delusion on delusion is to tell the truth. Tell the truth. I'm, even down to I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, right? Or whatever it is. Tell the truth about I got my feeling. Like we had a good example of this morning when she goes, "Yeah, my sister went to New York and had a spa day, and I felt jealous. Yeah. I was jealous.
Yeah.
It's like be aware, be honest and truthful about what is actually happening. It's not. And that way we can tell it and be with it and see it, and it's not frightening. It takes the fear away. I can see it. I can own it. And if I have a practice community, I can share it, and that can help me let go. We could all see it, and it's so much easier to let go when your friends are saying, "That's not true about you." It's easier to say, "Oh, I believe the people who love me," instead of this voice in my head who is addicted to the suffering story of this recreation of Glen over and over again.
Right.
So the remedy is to tell the truth. So I'm going to tell this process and this creation, the inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you. And you can
fill it with your own ideas instead of truth.
And this process involves the following steps. So, okay, I want you to get that in there because it's really important. It's the first thing, the premise that we're trying to climb out of. This is what we're trying to climb out of.
Okay, so
4 things, 4 steps. This is how we create. This is how we do projection.
Okay. First, you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. Ooh. Second, you believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. And fourth, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your own creation is up to you.
I think probably with the little contemplation, you could come up with your own versions of these things. That was what we had a good discussion on Friday. We was could you put those things in your own words? So I had my experiment was the first thing was you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. Okay, the way I think about this is I know better than nature. I know better the way things should be than the way physics operates, and everything can stay together. I know better than all of that. You know, couldn't possibly be true.
The arrogance of that, right?
Yeah,
the
right.
ego arrogance.
And so the second thing is you believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect. Or lacking. Like so that's what I wanted to really underline. You're not lacking. You're perfect for what is yours to do. So you're perfect. So this the way I hear it is I can and should fix the world because I can actually break God, right? So I have to correct the world. There's something wrong with the world, and I have to fix it. I have to make, I can fix the world. I broke reality.
Okay, all right.
So the third is you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself, right? So the way I think about this is I think something different would be definitely be preferable than right now. Something different, I would prefer that. I would prefer, it would be better. It would be better if something else were happening than what is happening right now. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
How could that be true and everything work? It couldn't. So the fourth thing is you believe that you create yourself, and that the direction of your creation, this creation I created myself, is totally up to you. Right? We do. This is my life. I can do whatever I want to with my life. This is my life. I can do whatever I want. Or as the children say, I'm the main character. Right? Are you the main character?
Well, but actually we are, though.
I know.
And it's interesting because we can do whatever we want. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we don't have to even be on the conscious awakening path if we don't want to.
No.
You know? And it'll all turn out the same, in the end, really.
Yeah, one route is a little bit more scenic than the other.
But it's interesting because stating it this way, there's a, for lack of a better word, a positive and a negative aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, everything, every principle has a positive and a negative aspect or a reflection in the world. And this is my life to do with what I want. It's totally, and I don't affect anybody and nobody affects me. I'm the main character. The whole world, it's self-centeredness on steroids. Right. I created myself. I'm not even breathing my lungs. I'm not, I can't hold my breath. I will start breathing again. I will black out and start breathing again. I don't control any of that on my heart or any of that.
Right.
I mean, I ultimately do, but the way that this, what we want to break through is being a part of what is true. Instead of this recreation of a Glen or a story or a narrative. That's what we're trying to watch ourselves create as it's being created and literally formed before our eyes. To get in the habit of doing that, being onto yourself. Yeah. So read the next bit. The creation of the Glen, because I want something different, because I think I can change myself, and it's my life, and all all this.
That's like you said, the epitome of selfishness or whatever. Yeah, self-absorbed.
Really self-centered.
Self-centered, self-absorption. Yeah. So, okay. The next paragraph goes, these related distortions represent a picture of what actually occurred in the separation or the detour into fear. She put those into quotes. None of this existed before the separation, nor does it actually exist now.
See?
Everything God created is like him. Extension, as undertaken by God, is similar to the inner radiance, radiance sutras, that the children of the Father inherit from him.
Right. It's your natural inheritance.
Its real source is internal.
Okay, the separation is just a detour. It's a detour.
Detour into fear.
It goes right back. A detour into fear.
That was interesting.
Yeah. So the kindness of this is extraordinary. So the separation is just a detour into fear. It doesn't. It's not real. So the reminder is what is created is like the Creator. So that's like all beings, right? All beings are created as are me. So so it becomes the extension that God gives us as the example of the way it is in reality. We have inner radiance. What we are to share in the world is our inner radiance.
Ravish me with your truth.
So we have this. It comes from this internal source that cannot be taken away and cannot be found outside of oneself. That it's so powerful and safe. That's our. We begin to change our identity and be able to see the world differently. Be able to recognize Eden is here. And so the promise is when we begin to act. The reminder is, we are created like all beings. When we project, we are leaving out our inner radiance. And there's a promise that if we work from or live from this internal source of inner radiance, that we begin to co-create with the Father. We create as the Father creates. As creation, so we're in sync. We're doing the creation. The creation. We are participating in reality because we're so present.
Yeah.
We're so real. And she goes, the only way this is possible is because you have free will. This is what we were talking about. Right. So not to beat yourself up for the all these detours you keep making. Right. Or we keep making. Right. Right. Or your brother is making that you really wish you wouldn't. Right. These detours, into fear. It's just it's their detour. You don't need to go on.
I'm just going to say that it's their detour. We don't have to leave people alone.
Oh, I know. I one day that will get through my head. So read the next bit.
Okay. First I want to see how everybody's doing. Hey y'all, just checking in. We have to go back and forth between screens, so if you have anything you want to put in the chat, please do. Okay.
Be obvious.
So the Garden of Eden, or the pre-separation condition, was a state of mind in which nothing was needed. Okay. Pre-separation, nothing was needed.
Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden. You do not have to continue to believe what is not true unless you choose to do so. Hello. All that can literally disappear in the twinkling of an eye because it is merely a misperception.
Twinkling.
I know, a twinkling of an eye. Oh,
okay.
Oh, okay. We're good. All right. Jacqueline's hosting now. Okay, the world has not experienced any comprehensive reawakening or rebirth. Such a rebirth is impossible as long as you continue to project or miscreate. It still remains within you, however, to extend as God extended His Spirit to you. In reality, this is your only choice because your free will was given you for your joy in creating the perfect.
So the Garden of Eden is a state of mind. It's actually the way we look at the world and are.
Yeah.
In and unseparated, we are unseparated. There is nothing that we need. We are whole and complete, loving and lovable. She said in the last week. You remember that? The truth is you're loving and lovable.
Oh,
and so there is nothing needed. There's nothing needed because
you're
it's
loving
all,
and lovable too.
I totally agree. Thank you for your correct perception, as Earl Purdy says. So the request here is to change your mind. Change your mind. Choose what's true. Choose the truth. Tell the truth about what is. And this truth will be an extension of your spirit. Will be the radiance of you, of us, of the existence, of living, of this joining the radiance all around us in this Garden of Eden. And the reason you have free will is that so that you can create perfectly.
Yeah.
Right? That it'll be oddly specific. Exactly what is needed right now. Because of the way you're built and the way that this is all coming together and expressing through you and through the filter of your the radiance, your radiance. So it's fun. So the reason for the free will is so that we can have the experience of that creation, of choosing to participate and create with God. Have that experience. So read the second to last paragraph.
All right, here we go. All fear is ultimately reducible to the basic misperception that you have the ability to usurp the power of God. That's where you get that idea of breaking God.
Breaking God.
Here is the real basis for your escape from fear. The escape is brought about by your acceptance of the atonement, which enables you to realize that your errors never really occurred.
What?
Dun, da, da, da.
They never occurred?
The knowledge that illuminates not only sets you free, but also shows you clearly that you are free. You are free.
Freedom. Rock with me, baby. So we think we usurped God and fear. We're going to talk about this, aren't we, tonight, Jacqueline?
Yeah.
So we think that we hurt God's feelings, or we broke God, and now something has to happen for it, right? And there's fear. We judge. We judge in the dream. We judge, creates the dream, we want something different, and we frighten ourselves. And because we think, honestly, that we're in some kind of dominance battle with life. That life is doing this, and it has to be, life is something, this energy is outside of us, it has to be wrestled to the ground and tamed, or boxed, or caged, or restricted. Do you feel it? We think we're in some kind of dominance battle with God or with life. It can't have my way. Everything's against me. It's just a resistance. And so the escape is accepting the atonement, accepting yourself, accepting the oneness, this radiance, this oneness with all beings. Logos. I want all beings to be happy. Because I'm literally all beings. And she uses the metaphor for light about seeing correctly. It's like you're turning the light on. So you perceive correctly. You perceive in light. You perceive what is true. And she gives us a couple of reminders. I'm going to ask Yolanda to read the last paragraph. She gives us a couple of reminders. Learn quickly to change your mind. It's like, I'm upset or whatever. Learn quickly to change. How fast can you change your mind? How fast can you change your mind? When you're presented with contrary evidence, that you're fabulous in a bag, all that in a bag of chips, when you're confronted with the evidence that you're perfect.
You're created perfect.
And then I'm going to argue with that. No.
Not me.
No.
Not little
So learn
me.
quickly to change your mind. And because this learning quickly actually begins to set you free. It sets you up to see better so you can let go of more. Right? So you gain the knowledge and create the practice and operate as if you're perfect, everything's great, and you do it. So read this next paragraph.
Okay.
The last paragraph. This is an altar call. So listen. This has got 4 or 5 sentences. So it's really lovely.
Okay. Whatever lies you may believe are of no concern to the miracle. Okay. Don't you love it?
I know.
That's a good one.
I know. I know.
Whatever lies you may believe, are of no concern to the miracle. Okay. Here we go. Which can heal any of them with equal ease. It makes no distinctions among misperceptions. Its sole concern is to distinguish between truth on the one hand and error on the other. Some miracles may seem to be of greater magnitude than others, but remember the first principle in this course. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. In reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. You are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love, whether these can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. That's really good news. Peace is an attribute in you. You cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching.
Good definition.
Health is inner peace. It enables you to remain unshaken by lack of love from without and capable, through your acceptance of miracles, of correcting the conditions proceeding from lack of love in others.
The conditions.
Yes.
The conditions. She goes.
That's awesome.
So what are you going to try to control? Oh, the conditions of why you're creating a narrative in which the whole world's against you or against us. What conditions are they? So the problem is choosing creation or projection.
Right.
The names, the task. So we cannot break God. We cannot change what is true. This project is learning the distinction between what is real and what is unreal. To learn the distinction between illusion and truth, between expansion and contraction. There is no escape from you. Because you're the truth. Your peace resides within you. There is no escape from you. What is not true has no effects. So create the conditions that creating the conditions precedes the misperception. Creating the conditions could create the perception, the correct perception as well, because the conditions now that we're setting up with our projection and not owning who we are and can't bear to be this oddly specific, we're creating the conditions for our own misperception. So the promise is, if you begin to create with God, you see and you participate in this radiance, this sharing of our natural radiance, the promise is that you will become unshakable from without, and that our health will be inner peace. So that's where we will leave it tonight. I'm your favorite anarchist preacher, Glen Ganaway. This is the love of my life, the Reverend Yolanda. So glad you could be.
I wish you could see what I see in you when I look into your eyes. Om tare tu re swaha. Om tare tu re swaha. Om tare tu re swaha. Om. I wish that I could rescue you. Please tell me what drove you to the ledge. What happened that shattered your dreams, triggered the pain that now plagues you? I wish that I could convince you that you don't deserve to suffer. I see the power in your eyes. They're the windows to your soul. Your eyes are the windows to your soul. Do you see the footprints in the sand? I'll carry you and your wounds. Your healing is something we'll do together. I'm sticking with you. I want you to know how holy you are, how possible you are, how beautiful. I can see it in your eyes. They're the windows to your soul. Your eyes, they're the windows to your soul. Your eyes, they're the windows to your soul. Your eyes, they're the windows to your soul. I wish you could see what I see in you when I look into your eyes.
With us.
And so we have to
Mighty
say goodbye
Command.
now because it's 5:59. So goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
We love each and every one of
We
you.
love you.
Stick around.